show you how to do advanced joins whenever you're making yarn. So the topic of this video sort of came about because one, it's been over 8 years since I last discussed joining yarn. And in my recent experiments with the warp-weighted loom and creating handspun for the Belgian experiment that obviously didn't happen, I learned how important it was to get the join just right. When you're doing experiments and you're trying to get to a specific end product, in this case I needed a warp yarn that was around 40 to 50 degrees twist to mirror some of the examples that we have from the Hallstatt mines. So I was experimenting and realizing just how important it was to make sure that the joins, when I was adding in new fibers, were as strong as the rest of the yarn I was spinning. But also, when you're talking about the amount of tension that I was going to subject these warp yarns to, and the fact that I wanted to make sure that the joins were very even, it involved kind of reassessing to make sure that I was producing something that was top quality while also kind of, feeling things out, getting an understanding of what this process might have been like in the past. Since there's a lot of applicability with this joining method, I decided to make a tutorial video that was short, sweet, and only focused on joins. So if you want to check out my other video on how to make yarn, they're old but still functional, I will link them to you above. So let's get into it. Whenever you sit down at your wheel, one of the things you should always do, especially if it's been a while and if you've got a new bobbin you've just put on, is to give it a nice oiling in all of the various articulation points and to just practice making the leader go in and out of the orifice to kind of acquaint yourself with the amount of uptake tension there is. And then once you feel comfortable, then you can start adding your fiber. The fiber I'm using in this example is the discard that came from my drum carder, so it isn't really great quality. However, the reason why I'm using it is because if I can show you how to make a nice smooth join with this not so great fiber, then you can take this principle and apply it to even the best fibers, and you'll be able to make a join that's strong, well made, and it won't make your yarn thick. So the first thing I've done here is I've looped my bit of fiber through the leader loop, and I'm holding it together and just giving it a few lengths so that it's a secure join. Now comes the advanced joining technique. What you're going to do is you will hold the fiber in your hand that is usually closest to your orifice, and you'll leave a length of approximately 1 to 1.5 inches. And then you will take the fluffy ends from the fiber you want to join in and hold it perpendicular to that point. Begin treadling, holding them in this position, and if you give a slight tug back on the fiber you're trying to join in, you will see how those few wispy fibers get caught into the join and start forming part of the yarn. Once you have enough fibers twisted in there, you can put the new fiber supply in line with your spinning and continue spinning with whatever method you desire. The wonderful thing about this join is it's extremely sturdy, and because you're using the wispy ends, it's going to join in very seamlessly. One of the things that I like about this join is you won't have a situation where if you run your fingers down that bit of the yarn you've just made where the join is, you won't have the ends that stick out kind of pushing away, forming sort of a slubby bit. And in this way, your yarn at that joint is going to be just as sturdy and strong as the rest of your yarn. Let's say you want to really ensure that the yarn that you're making is extremely smooth and even. One of the things that you can do is, instead of joining at the very end like I have been doing, you can start further up in the length and draft out even smaller, wispier bits that will then lead into the last remaining fiber supply that you have. And that more gradual transition will ensure that your yarn doesn't get too thick in that spot, and it's even more strengthened because you've extended the overlapping point by at least double in this case. As with all tutorials like this, it's really imperative that you at least give it a bit of a practice just to get really comfortable with doing it, just for consistency's sake. So you don't want to get into a project where you're spinning a lot of yarn and you haven't really practiced this too much, and you get sort of uneven joins, or you get lumps where you would prefer there to be a much smoother join. So, you know, it's not going to take that long, and it's really easy to incorporate with your practice. And even if you're a beginner, this is something that you can start doing, whether it's on the wheel or with a spindle. The same principle applies. Okay, so that's it for this video. Please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and post any comments you might have below, and I will get back to them as soon as I can. Apologies for being so insanely busy. For those of you who follow me on Instagram or Twitter know that I've been in the middle of conference season, which has kind of come up like weeds left and right. So my spare time has been sort of filled with trying to decompress after so many great ideas. And I will eventually be getting back to filming more videos in the future, including some live streams, because I've just gotten a warp-weighted loom and started my first test project. Thanks for watching. Bye!